Hi there, welcome to another episode of Vision Quest. If you have never been here before, hello, welcome new friend. How'd you find out about this? Tell me. Somehow, please tell me. My name's Ashley Appap. I'm a writer and comedian from Melbourne, Australia, and if you are returning, welcome back, dear friend. How are you? Have you been? Have you been drinking enough water? Have you been pooping enough? Have you checked in on your Tamagotchi in a while? You may not have. It may have been many years. If you haven't, this is your official reminder. Find your Tamagotchi from your junk drawer. Get it out, clean up its poo-poo, feed it, okay? I know, I'm doing God's work here, so you're welcome. Today on the podcast, after that utter garbage I just spouted, we have quite the opposite. We have an angel, a visionary, what some would call never before seen, never before heard, experienced, unique, perfect human being on the podcast. We have Miss Katie Currie here, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, I'm glad to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Okay, so basically today, as we're recording, this is the 15th of February. And a mere 2 days ago, we were meant to be doing a really fun show.
Yeah, we should have been on that stage, man. At least we got to do one though. That's a pro.
Yes, we did. And it went really well. We did this variety show called Twilight. I'm sure we'll be doing it again. Don't worry. For the masses out there that want to see it, for the Melbourne locals and others, because it's going to be live streamed. But we were meant to do the show, and I've just been so happy to be able to get to spend some time with you over the past few weeks. And I was just like, oh my God, I got to keep this going. I want to talk to you right now. So I'm really glad to have you on. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes. To begin, my name is Katie Currie. I am American. I'm from Austin, Texas. Moved here about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Here being Melbourne, Australia, the big MA, mature audiences only.
Ooh.
I do improv, I do sketch, I teach English to kids in China virtually. I'm going back to school to be a wildlife and conservation biologist. I got a lot of irons and a lot of fires.
I love all of this. Holy moly, guacamole. Okay, so I feel like we connect very easily. Like, we've only really hung out a few times, but from the first time I met you, I remember it was after a show at the Improv Conspiracy. We just clicked, and I was like, I like this human being. But I don't know a lot about you apart from the time that we've spent together. So all this is incredible.
Yes, same.
I knew you were from Austin. I thought you had been here way longer than 2 years. And now we're stuck at home in another mini lockdown. Thank you, Australian Open.
Love the tennis.
Yeah, tennis.
I definitely understand it.
I do understand it, but I am angry at it. I'm very angry at them for causing this for us. So we couldn't celebrate your 2 years because of them. So this one goes out to the Australian Open, and then I go into like a song about breaking hearts or something.
Perfect. Yes, yeah. I like it. It's just cue "Achy Breaky Heart" by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Exactly. The king.
The king of music and mullets.
Yeah, both things. The 2 M's, music, mullets, and Miley, the 3 M's.
And Miley, there's the third one.
Okay, well, so what made you choose Melbourne? I'm always so intrigued.
So I chose Melbourne for a variety of reasons. Reason number one, when I was living in the US, I never quite felt like I was where I was supposed to be. And I couldn't figure out exactly what that feeling was. And told my mom about it, and like she was kind of upset because she was like, but Texas, and I was like, I know, but it's not here, Mom, I'm sorry. Went to school in Colorado, wasn't there either, but I was like, leaving was correct, feels a little bit more right, but not like where I'm supposed to be. Was gonna move to LA, visited LA, was like, you're great, but not my place. I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm interested in visiting, I'm interested in my friends being here, but I don't want to stay. Went on a trip with a couple of friends after I graduated school to Australia. It was only for 6 weeks in the classic American vacation way of like, this is a long time. And then you get here and everyone's like, no. But in the 6 weeks that we were here, I stepped off the plane in Melbourne and I was like, ooh, something has shifted. I don't know if it's just excitement because I'm somewhere else. I don't know if it's like the feeling that I've been looking for. I'm not entirely sure. Wow. But as our trip kind of progressed and we went to different places in Australia, the whole time I just kept thinking about Melbourne and being like, oh, I really want to go back there. It felt right. And then when we got back from our trip, about half a year later, my friend Heather moved here, messaged me and was like, what if also you? And I was like, good point. That's valid opinion. Came here, haven't left.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool. I feel like that's the opposite of what a lot of people's stories are when they move somewhere. It's like, there's this thing here and I knew it was there and I wanted to go, so I went. And then like, that's what I was like with LA, and I still love it very much. And if, which probably won't ever happen, someone was like, here's the job of your dreams in LA, I'd go back. But there are definitely points where I was like, this isn't at all what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was afraid that would happen when I came here, because I've also just always been interested in Australia since I was little, for no real reason outside of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, my hero and legend.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. But yeah, I was just obsessed with it, and I was like, oh no, what if I get there and I'm not as into it as I've always wanted to be? Yeah. And then I got here and it was like, oh nah, we locked it down. Feels exactly the way I wanted. I love it. Everything's great.
That's amazing though. That makes me feel so good for you, knowing that it was just like, oh, I figured it out.
Yeah, it was like the Cinderella moment. I put on the slipper and was like, this fits perfectly.
Well, I'm so glad that this is the place for you, because we're all so glad to bloody have you, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Super stoked. Back to like when you were saying when we first met after the improv show, I was trying to explain to someone recently how I know you. And they were like, how do you guys know each other? And I was like, well, it's less like we know each other and more like we met once and it was right. They were like, have you guys ever like hung out? I was like, at a picnic recently, we chatted with each other and we're like, been friends online. It'll be great to see you in the flesh.
Exactly. I mean, the past year has been an anomaly. Like we definitely would have seen each other more if we weren't all at home the most year. But yeah, it just feels right is the exact way I would describe it. Let's get into these goddamn questions.
Fuck yeah, drop it on me, big mama.
You're dropping it. The first question is, what did you want to be when you grew up, and why do you think that is?
Okay, when I was very small, I wanted to be, and this is up until I actually went to college, I wanted to be a veterinarian since I was like 2 years old. Wow. And I can very clearly remember having like a preschool career day where we all dressed up and got our photo taken and being like, I want to be a veterinarian. And they were like, oh, we don't have that costume. What about like firefighter? And I was like, I want to be a veterinarian. And they were like, doctor? And I was like, veterinarian. Are you here? So now there's just a photo of me like as a firefighter on my mom's fridge where I just look like so posed and upset in the eyes, but like the smile is there and it's just like, it's beautiful. And I think I wanted to be that, both because I just really love animals, obsessed with animals. I think they're magical creatures with beautiful souls and they're so pure and soft. And then secondly, because of aforementioned Steve Irwin, RIP, I was obsessed with the Animal Planet channel in the United States, and specifically with how hands-on his show was. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be hands-on. I want to be all up in it. I want to help animals.
I love that. And so now you're going back to uni to do a version of that, which is incredible.
I am. Yeah, I'm going back for conservation and wildlife biology because I realized when I went to school the first time, it wasn't so much that I wanted to be a vet, but I wanted to work with animals. And that was the only job that I knew specifically that worked with animals. And then because I locked onto it so small, I never like branched out and tried to research other things. I was just like, this is a job with animals and this is what you want.
Yeah.
So blinders on, blaze forward.
When you went to school in Colorado, did you do like vet science or did you do something else?
Started out in molecular biology so that I could transfer to a vet school or at least get all the credentials done. Second year, changed to creative writing.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, you're an excellent creative writer, so it was
Thank
not
you.
for nothing.
It worked out for something.
Yeah.
I got that skill in my pocket now.
And it is one of the most important skills. And that's what the doctors and the lawyers, the teachers, they tell you some things, but no. If you don't know how to write a short story based on a prompt, get out of here. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
I am really good at being able to step back from the subjective and look at it from a very objective point of view. When things are happening to me or when things are happening to other people, I'm really good at like seeing both sides and understanding how things affect me. And kind of like you were saying in your first episode where you were like, I kind of know exactly what it is that I'm feeling and how to process that. I can do that as well. And it's really helped in a lot of situations. It helps when people are really, really stuck in their things. I like to help people. So it's been really helpful being able to kind of deliver that to them as well and myself and just really focus on what's going on and how I can make it better or get out of it and not get trapped in my like feeling spiral.
Yeah.
That's
important.
It is. It's really, it's nice. And that kind of ties into always knowing who I was as a person ever since I was very small. And that's tied into that because it's like, because I know who I am and what I want and every part of me, I've been able to then be like, how does this affect this?
Yeah, that's so valuable. Like, not to brag for both of us, but I think it sounds like you're saying the same thing, but I feel like for me, one of a really big strength has always been like knowing like who I am, my point of view, and like what makes me me. And it's like if other people are making fun of that, I don't like it. Kind of is like, all right, well, but they don't even know what they are, and I do, so it doesn't even matter.
I agree. That's 100% it. It's like I know what I want. I know what I like. I have since I was very small. In that way, like yeah, it's caused issues with people who don't know those things and then kind of turn it around on you and make you feel like you're too much or something because there's these things that you like to do and you know you like to do them, you're very passionate about them, or you have opinions that you fully believe or things that you want to do, and then everyone's kind of like, oh, we don't do that, like that's not cool, that's not blah 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 blah, like shame on you. But at the same time they're over here having no idea what they want, trying to sell a version of themselves so that everyone will accept it.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm just trying to like be the version of myself that I am and then know that the people that matter will accept it. Truly. And not the others.
Yeah, and those people, it's like a classic bullying stuff as well. It's like
classic
people,
being different, having a different opinion than the rest.
And like when you're sure of yourself and when you're confident, there's always going to be people that are triggered by that, for lack of a better word, because they're like, well, why aren't I okay with myself? Fuck you for being okay with yourself, you little poo-poo. And then you're like, I'm not poo-poo. I happy baby.
I am happy baby who have exact what I want.
Exactly.
And you can have it if you want it, but you don't have to.
The end. Okay, the next question is, what's your favorite feeling? So it can be physical or emotional.
I have two feelings that are my favorite. One of them or three actually. I have three feelings that are my favorite. Ooh, so many favorite feelings. Number one, I really like when I'm laughing so hard and for no reason, and someone else with me is doing the same thing. Like you get into this giggle fit moment where you can't breathe, you're completely silent, but you're laughing so hard that your whole face is turning red, and there's this other person with you, and then somebody asks like, what's so funny? And neither one of you can say because there's not something that's funny. It's just that you both cracked at the same moment.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
that happens to me not very frequently, but with my mom, with one of my cousins, and with another friend of mine. They're like the only people that it's ever happened to like the hardest extent, where we're just both sitting there and then suddenly we're both laughing so hard that we're on pause.
I love that. My
That's
sister and
number
I,
one.
that happens with my sister and I a lot.
That's good. That's really
Yeah.
good. Oh, it's so good. You just feel like you feel so light, and you also almost feel like you did exercise.
Yes. It's like a release.
It is. Yeah, it's a huge
Yeah.
release.
What are the others?
The second one, I love to snuggle. The sensation of being held tightly and intertwined with a person, a pillow, or a pet is just really nice. I like the touch. I'm a snuggle slut. Just want to get up in those arms.
I'm a snuggle slut. Is should on your tombstone when you die, it's gonna say
It'll
Katie
say Katie
Currie,
Currie, snuggle slut.
beloved daughter, friend, entertainer, snuggle slut.
I'm gonna get a pair of like juicy track pants. Snuggle slut
On
on
the
the
butt
ass.
in diamantes.
Yeah. That would be good. I should
Amazing.
love that. I might have to look into it. My mom used to call me Anaconda when I was little, because when I would like sleep in her bed, and then throughout the night I would just get like more and more wrapped around her,
Oh,
and she'd have to like peel me off so that she could actually sleep.
that's so sweet though. Oh. Okay, what's the
Um,
third thing?
the third and last feeling is a it's a combination of things. It's late October in the United States. It's cloudy outside, and there's rain falling very hard in like a type raining, very heavy. If you stepped out, you'd be wet. There's lightning out there, and I am inside, snuggled up, watching the first Twilight movie. That is the third feeling. Those are
Excellent.
my top three feelings.
That sounds perfect.
It's very good. I watch it every year in the fall, but if it's that condition, then I'm like on a new level of nirvana.
Do you watch it in our fall, like in April, May?
I did last year during lockdown. Um, and I feel like I probably will start to as my clock changes to be more in line with it. But right now, or not right now, but the first year I was here, it was kind of like October came around, and I was like, I have to watch Twilight, even though the weather was wrong. It was hot.
Yeah.
It was like a beautiful day outside, and I was like, I have to watch it. It's October.
It's time.
It's time.
Ah!
Bella's dead. Let's go.
Okay, the next question is, what's your happy place? It can be like a physical place or, I don't know, something else.
My dad has a hunting ranch in Texas, and it's an archery hunting ranch, or it used to be. Now it's both archery and guns, but it used to be just archery. And my happy place is in that location, but not near the house, just kind of like out in the natural area. There's like a little like dry creek bed area that I really liked to play in and hang out in and read.
Mm-hmm.
That's my like physical happy place. When I'm there, I just feel like so peaceful and separated, but I know that like family and snacks are close enough that it's not going to be like a bad time. And then anytime I see a very soft patch of grass beneath a tree, that is also a happy place, whether or not I'm actually in the soft patch of grass or just spotting the soft patch of grass. My brain immediately like puts me there, Winnie the Pooh style, right in the grass.
That's an underrated feel. That's a great place.
Thank you very much. I feel like anytime I'm on like a walk with someone or we're outside, I find myself like finding these patches of grass and pointing them out and being like, that's a good patch of grass. And they're just like, okay. I'm like, no, you don't get it though.
They're like, are you a dog? Are you looking for someone to piss?
I'm like, you could take a nap there. And they're like, why would you do that? I'm like, there's a good patch of grass.
We don't know what life's going to throw at us. It's always good to be spotting places where you could take a nap.
Exactly.
The next question is, what's your favorite song to cry to?
Ooh, okay. There's a set of 3 songs that are guaranteed to make me cry when they're played in order, but I don't remember the order anymore because I used to play them in order when I was in high school. And then I was like, you need to stop making yourself cry by listening to these 3 songs. And so the order has disappeared from my mind, but the 3 songs remain. And they are The A-Team by Ed Sheeran. Such a sad song. Just a sad song. I'll Follow You Into the Dark, Death Cab for Cutie, and Say Something. I don't remember who that's by, but it's the one that's like, say something, I'm giving up on you. When you put those 3 in order, I just bawl. I bawl like a baby. It just comes out of me, and then I just keep it on loop so that I can keep the cry infinity going.
Yeah. Get all the feelings out.
Exactly. It's exactly. And another song that makes me cry, but only if I listen to it a lot of times, which I found out in a silly little story about how I found this out. So, All by Myself, the Celine Dion version.
Mm-hmm.
One time I thought it would be really funny because all my college roommates were out of the house and it was just me at home. And I was like, oh, they're going to get home any minute. This would be hilarious. I'm going to play all by myself and I'm going to sit on the couch and they're going to come in, they're going to see me and they're going to be like, haha, Katie, she's so fucking funny. So I started playing all by myself on loop in the house and I'm like waiting for them to get home and they're not getting home. And it's like, I'm like waiting. I'm like, they'll be here any minute. After time number 7, I suddenly just felt so lonely. So truly alone that I started like bawling and I was like, I'm all by myself. Celine knows. And my two of my housemates got home and the whole house was like pitch black because the sun had set and I was just sitting in a corner crying with Celine busting throughout the whole house. And they were like, oh my God, Katie, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing.
This is an accident.
This was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be funny and now it's just sad.
Oh my God. I applaud.
Thank you. It was a good moment. It was so good.
The next question is, who is someone you admire? It can be anyone. It can be someone you know, someone everyone knows, up to you.
Just hearkening back to a name I've already mentioned twice. Steve Irwin, A+ man, loved animals. I love animals. I admire his passion for them and his passion for their safety and his passion for people to understand them and know them. I feel like he made a big difference in how people see crocodiles specifically, but also a lot of other venomous and dangerous creatures. He kind of made people realize that, they're just animals and we're not. Of course, they're attacking or they're scary or they're scared because we're in their home. And that's how we feel when we see a spider in our home or we see an intruder at our house stealing from us. We're like, I'm scared, I'm going to act out. Same thing with animals. And I feel like because of that, a lot of people have stopped hating on crocodiles and snakes and all sorts of different other animals. And I really admire that and the gumption it takes to push that agenda.
Yes.
And I want to do that.
Even when they stab you in the chest.
Even when they stab you in the chest, you still go out saying it's not the animal's fault, which is what he said. He said, don't blame it on the animal. They're just wild.
He said, don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Don't blame it on the animals. I hate to quote.
Classic quote, full thing.
hate to add in a story of a genuine hero mixed in with a pedophile, but you know what? That's
sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes this is how we make content.
Exactly.
It's 2021, all bets are off.
So good. I also admire Zendaya.
Oh,
I think that to come out of Disney and become who she is impossible. A feat that is not heard of. Nobody does that.
yeah.
And she's kept her life so private in a way that I admire and stands up for what she believes. And as someone younger than me, I aspire to be her.
Yeah, same. And she's just like she's just completely being herself as well. Like you can
She
just tell.
is. She is. You can tell
Ugh,
she's not sacrificing any of her own things to be what the universe wants. And I think that's so impressive and beautiful and
yeah.
difficult to do in her job of choice.
Okay, the next question is what's some weird kid stuff you used to do?
I was a very strange child, mostly because, as we talked about earlier, I knew exactly who I was and what I wanted. So I feel like a lot of the things that I did reflected that. When I was really small, I used to watch myself cry. If I got like hurt or something, I would immediately find a reflective surface so that I could watch myself,
Wow.
see what it looked like. And my mom used to tell me that like she'd be holding me, trying to comfort me, and I'd be like trying to look over her so that I could see myself crying. And I don't know why I did it. I think it was just because I was interested in what it would look like. And I was like, what do crying people look like? What do
Yeah.
I look like when
You're like, do
I'm
I
crying?
ugly cry? I need to know.
Exactly. I was like, what kind of crier am I? And the answer is I commit to crying.
Especially when you're in a room alone playing Celine Dion.
Exactly. Exactly. You gotta. I also used to collect bones, harkening back to the ranch that my dad has, the hunting ranch. I used to wander around, find bones, and put them in a bag and just carry a backpack full of random animal bones I'd found on the ground. And I had like 8 antlers in a crate at home that I had just like found walking around because deer shed. And I was like, this is mine now. And I would just keep them. And my mom was like, what are you keeping them for? And I was like, good question. Got to keep them.
You're like, I'm going to donate them so that people can find out more about deer.
Yeah. I was like, what do you want me to do? Leave the spine bone on the ground? Absolutely not. That's a waste of a good spine bone. That could be in my collection.
Okay, question. Where is that backpack full of bones now?
My mom got rid of it. And she used to do this a lot because, of course, I had too many bones that I would pick up. So she would have to empty them so that I could keep picking up bones because obviously the house can't become a museum of natural science. So she would periodically dump them somewhere. I don't know if it was in the trash, I don't know if it was down the road, but she would dump them so that I could then refill the bag and just keep adding to my collection. I do still have 5 of the antlers. I have a kangaroo skull on this shelf over here, or a wallaby skull, that I found on a hike recently. So it never stopped. It just became more focused. It became more like maybe let's not pick up every shard we see and more just pick up the complete cool things.
I have never once found a loose animal bone anywhere. I mean, I grew up in like suburban Melbourne, so that's probably it.
I went
But
on a hike in Adelaide, and on the hike I like saw it and I was like,
wait, and did you fly back?
I did. I wrapped it in a t-shirt, flew back. No one
That's
caught me.
illegal. That's
They're gonna
illegal.
get me.
Oh
They're coming
my.
for me.
Katie Currie, purveyor
Technically,
of.
since I didn't bring it from the United States and I didn't bring anything from here to the US, it's not technically illegal because it's just
Yeah, that's
between
true.
states.
Also going to be on your tombstone, Katie Currie, purveyor of skulls.
Yes.
Purveyor of bones, even.
Bone thief, Katie Currie.
I really hope you don't have any human bones.
No, I don't. I don't have any human bones. I don't know what I would do. If I found a human bone, I think my first thought would be like police and then I wouldn't touch it. But
Great.
animal bones, no holds bar. Take them. They're yours. Finders keepers.
There's no animal police. Well, I mean there is, I guess.
Yeah, there's park rangers.
So this is the last question before we get into your topic. And it is, do you think aliens are real?
Hondo P, aliens are real. I recently read a book called Going Goldilocks and the Water Bears, about astroscience and the search for other life. Because I love the idea of aliens. I think they're real. I think that they're incredible. But in this book, it kind of talked about what exactly we look for when we're looking for other life, and what are signatures of microorganisms or signatures of like bacteria off-put, different types of elements that only exist if life exists. And like where they've found some of these things, or what they've seen through their various telescopes and various testing type stuff, which makes it incredibly, not guaranteed, but quite close to guaranteed that there is other life, or had been other life on Mars at one point. My theory about Mars, personally, everyone's always like, the Martians are on Mars, they're hiding. I think Mars was Earth, and I think we fucked it up and then found Earth, and then came to Earth, and then now Earth is fucking up, and we're like, let's go back to Mars. But it's like, we already went there. She already been dead billions of years. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of things they found where it's like, there used to be water here, but now it's dried up. Why is it dried up? And it's like, there's no atmosphere. Most planets lose their atmosphere after certain types of global phenomenon. So these types of things.
We were so thirsty, we drank all the water.
Just put our sippy straws in there and we went to town.
Put it straight in the ground. Sucked it right out. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's like, there was a part in the book where they were talking about some of the other galaxies that exist outside of the Milky Way, and how, of course, we can't really see them because they're too far away. We don't have anything that strong, but we have this certain type of technology. I forget exactly what it is, but it measures like light flickering based off of a planet passing a light source. And so they've used that a lot to look into deep space, and they've seen this like light flickering that proves movement in other planets and other galaxies and whatnot. And they've been able to also calculate how far some of those planets might be from their own sun. They've been able to like talk about this thing called the Goldilocks zone, which is like the exact right place. And they've talked about how a couple of Jupiter's moons are within a Goldilocks zone and have a lot of the things that you would need for life, but aren't like, they don't have Earth's capabilities, but they do have capabilities for certain types of life. So if evolution were to play out differently, things could evolve on these two moons that would be able to like handle the imbalance of chemicals in the air, or handle pressure that exists, or handle extreme heat and extreme lows, as well as organisms on Earth that can survive those conditions, like water bears, which are a little microscopic buddy. I forget, they're called tardigrades. Go into like, they can go into stasis for long periods of time and then come back to life when they have the exact qualities they need. So they were talking about how something like that could be placed on another planet to like test air stuff, which is wild to me.
Whoa.
Aliens, they exist. They're out there.
When I decided to use this question, I was like, this will be fun. Like people will just say like little things, and like I feel like every second answer from people has been these new pieces of information that are making me be like, this is too much.
Everyone's been like, I have evidence, and you're like, oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, my brain can't handle this information. That's insane. Aliens. End scene. And with that, let's get to something more serious than aliens. Let's get to your
very
topic.
Serious topic. Yes.
Your topic for the episode. Take it away. The floor is yours.
My topic for the episode is the idea of sleepovers, and how once you get older, people start believing that they're not something you can keep doing because they're a childish thing, which, thinking about it more a little bit today, I realize that is just a symptom of my deeper belief that things that we do as a child aren't necessarily only allowed to be done as children. We've just decided that it's not something adults do and have ruined the fun for ourselves. Yeah, that's kind of where I've settled now with my topic, is that like childish things aren't necessarily childish. It's how we've decided to construe them and believe them.
Yes. Oh my God. I couldn't, in terms of sleepovers specifically, couldn't agree with this more. My close friends will know how important sleepovers are to me. I will be like, so what are you doing? Just come here and just stay here. Just stay here, please. One of my best friends just moved out like of her parents' house for the first time, and she was just like, so will you come over all the time? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep over all the time. I'm not just gonna. Yeah. And that's one of the exactly, and that's one of the best things about like when you turn like 18, when everyone's like finishing school and people are moving out of home. It's one of the biggest advantages of it is that we can have sleepovers without like we can do whatever the hell we want but still like have a sleepover. And I completely agree that it's like, why when we're at that point where we're meant to be like growing up are we stopping to doing that thing when it's like the perfect time to be doing it?
Yeah, and it's like when you're growing up, the whole reason that people do sleepovers are to like, I mean, like as a kid, it's partially to give your parents a break so that someone else is in charge of you as a child. But the other part of it is like a socialization aspect. It's a way to make friends. It's a way to deepen connections. It's a way to experience things that you haven't experienced yet because it's not your household anymore. And those things don't disappear when you get older. Like it's still a different household that you're experiencing, and it's still different people that are now involved in your life that you don't know on a deep level. And a sleepover guarantees that you're going to know people on a much deeper level than you know them just in normal conversation, because they're in a safe place. They're in an enclosed place that they chose to be in. And there's food and water, and there's movies, and there's people there that they want to hang out with for extended periods of time. And it's like to take that away from yourself is such a deficiency. Like to be like, I don't want to have sleepovers anymore because I'm grown is kind of not immature. It is kind of immature. It's kind of this belief that you know everything. It's that like preteen feeling you get where you're like, I know how the world works, so I don't have to listen anymore. That's basically what denying yourself childish pleasures is.
Yeah.
Is being like, oh, well, I know that the world isn't a fun and happy place, so I can't do fun and happy things anymore.
Well, that's just like you're depriving yourself of the fun and happy things, babe. Do that to
Yeah,
yourself, babe.
you're choosing to not have a good time anymore. You're saying I'm not allowed to experience this rare feeling with my friends because I'm a grown up now.
Crazy. I think, and in like grown up times, the only thing that if you're a person that you don't still have sleepovers, the only time when you are doing that is like traveling. But I found personally, in my opinion, my experiences with friends that I've traveled with, the ones that don't also have sleepovers are people that are difficult to travel with because they're so not used to having to adjust to other people's like waking up schedules, sleeping schedules, staying up late and chatting, just like exactly what we said, putting yourself in a different environment when you're little and going to sleepovers is a really important thing because you learn to adjust to those things.
Yeah, you learn how to be like more adaptable and how to handle other things and how to be interested in the way that other people's lives maybe work so that you can do those things on your own.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
The chance comes up. But I agree, yeah, the people you travel with who don't do sleepovers or have this ideology that like adults are adults and shouldn't do kids things are the like worst travel companions because they don't want to do the like fun silly little stuff. They just want to do very prescriptive things, and then they can't enjoy themselves when it gets outside of that zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like often those kinds of people can be ones that when you are traveling as well, like they're very stuck in their ways, like rigid in terms of like, well, we're doing this, so we're doing this, and we're not like leaving any room for fun or spontaneity or anything like that. We're going very broad on the sleepover term here, but like that's basically what a holiday is it not? Just like an extended sleepover in a different place.
Exactly. And I also think, you look at the people who have sleepovers as kids, there's a big kind of gender issue with it where a lot of women have sleepovers for a longer time than a lot of boys do. Like boys and men stop having sleepovers after the age of 10 usually because now they're they're grown and that's not correct behavior for a guy to do. Like guys don't stay over with their bros. That's not what you do. You stay out and then you go home.
It's so
Whereas
sad.
women are very much like, I know it's very sad. Women are like, I want to be around my people and I love my people. I want to do this. And because of that, women and people who don't identify strongly as male are better at expressing their feelings because they're used to being in this environment where they can talk and be comfortable and feel safe, and then discuss those things with a group of people who are also going to do that. Whereas like people who identify themselves as quite strongly masculine tend to have a little bit more difficult time conveying feeling because they didn't have to or get to do that for as long as women did.
Yeah. And like I'm getting this all from TV shows, which I mean, like Big Mouth specifically is obviously based off some more real life experiences. But it seems like from those portrayals of like young boys having sleepovers, it can be a really good way for them to express their emotions, even if it's like slightly toxic in some way, like the episode where they're like having the boxing match or whatever it is. It's still a version of them having a space to let out their emotions. And like, if you don't have the chance to do that, especially in your like older teen years, like when I was in year 12/12th grade, so like the final year of high school, my best friend and I stayed at each other's houses, like had a sleepover once a week. And it was like imperative to our mental health. Like we would have like an hour or two like studying in that time, and then we would just like watch things that were fun for us and talk and eat and hang out. And it was like, that was one of the only like scheduled time. We didn't mean to schedule it, but like it ended up being like our time once a week that we had to just like be silly together and like let everything out and like not be thinking about the stressful situation that we were in at that time.
Exactly. It's such a beautiful catharsis of emotion and like holdups and everything. And when I was in college, I used to it worked sometimes. I used to try to convince my improv teams and comedy teams and groups of friends, like, let's have a sleepover. And the people who would do it ended up being more the people who I enjoyed being around in the long run, or who have stayed my friends, or who I still am in contact with and I follow quite actively. Whereas a lot of the people who were like, we're adults, we shouldn't do that. Like, we're in college, we're grown up now, are people that have just kind of disappeared from my life, not through like cutting you out because you didn't want to have a sleepover, but just like we ended up finding that we didn't have a lot of similarities or a lot of interests in common and just drifted apart.
Yeah.
But the ones who we did do those things, we grew like very, very close, very connected. We knew each other inside and out. We trusted each other. We enjoyed doing things together, and it made it like a tighter bond.
Absolutely. I have like specific memories tied to like one group of friends of mine, which is I did a lot of musical theatre, like the first couple years out of high school, like regional community theatre, and a lot of them are like a couple years older than me, but a big part of the culture, and I think that's a thing with like creative weird people, is there's a lot of like overnight, like we had lots of camping trips, and like we would have parties, and then everyone would just be so shit-faced that we would just stay at someone's house. And it was just like every weekend there was a version of a sleepover where we would all become so close. And I know it's probably like hippy-dippy theater stuff as well is a big part of it. But I think like when I think of those friends, I think immediately of, oh, we're going to have like a fun sleepover where, well, actually we're supposed to have a camping trip organized for the beginning of March. We'll see if it happens. But like one of my friends in that group, his birthday is New Year's Eve. So knowing that, I don't go every single year, but every year that I have gone, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. We're going to have a great like sleepover birthday celebration. We're all just going to like have a wonderful time together. And we've been doing that. His next birthday is going to be his 30th birthday. And we've already all been like, no to any, like for any other friends that ask me for next year's New Year's, I've got the sleepover of the century. Yes, exactly. So it's like incredibly important to me. Like this beautiful bed here, I have recently upgraded to an orthopedic mattress because I'm a broken bitch and it's so good. But like, my friends that I've known all my life will know that the first thing that happens when they come into, like right now I'm at my parents' house, the first thing that happens always is we come in, we like say hi, maybe we'll make a cup of tea, talk to my parents, and then immediately I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. And we'll just lie down on my bed and hang out. Whether it becomes a sleepover or not, it's like such a central
Same. It's like the
place.
best socialization area. It's comfortable, it's supportive, it's warm.
It's
Just like a
lying
hug,
down.
a good bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like sleepovers, and then as well, just kind of all of these things that go away as you get older, like birthday parties where you play games, or like some theme parks. Like there are certain theme parks where people are like, oh, I can't go there. That's for babies. And it's like, well, if I have a good time, why would I not go there?
Theme parks are
I
my
want to do those
favorite
things.
thing in the world.
I love theme parks.
I'm a roller
They're
coaster
amazing.
fanatic.
Yes, they're so good. They're so fun. They're so exciting. Ah, they're just good. They're just good. Like getting your face painted. Why does that have to be for kids? I like paint. I like my face. Why can't I have them both?
Why can't both things just be one right now?
Why not both of them right now?
Water fights?
Yeah. Water fights. Love a water fight. So good. Nerf guns. Excellent. Excellent thing. Heelys, very good, very
roller
fun.
skating, rollerblading.
Roller skating, rollerblading, those things. Boarding. I'm not very good at skateboards, but I think that they're cool.
Oh,
I think that sometimes people are like, not for adults unless you're really good at it, but it's like, no, that's not true. You should be able to enjoy things.
One of my best friends, Kelsey, shout out to Kelsey, you can watch her episode, I'll link it wherever, is recently bought a one wheel, which is like this electric skateboard that's just this giant wheel, and it's crazy. And she's recently just been like, why not get into it? And she's like, every day she goes out and she's like, it's my favorite thing in the world, it makes me feel so good, I just like listen to music and go on my like little journeys.
It's fantastic. It's so good. It's like allowing yourself to have fun without being like, is this allowed, is so important. And it just makes me so sad when people can't find joy in those things that they used to find joy in because they think they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Or like when people, like the term child, like people are like, oh, you have such childlike wonder. And it's like, why does it have to be childlike wonder? Why can't it just be wonder? Like I'm impressed and I'm happy about things. Why is that a childish thing? Why are only kids allowed to be happy and impressed?
Truly. Oh my God, that's such a good point. I played a lot of basketball growing up, and I've recently just started just like playing again once a week. And I've just been like, oh, I forgot how nice it is to do something that has no, like, obviously fitness is a point, but like exactly no stakes. It's not like towards my like career or like, I guess it's good for relationships with the people that I'm playing with, but like, it's just something fun to do that has it doesn't do anything for like my credibility, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. And if anything, like as you get older, these things that are for kids have new meaning and new outlets that you can now play with them. Like you look at hide and go seek, my favorite game of all time. You look at hide and go seek, and as a child, because you're a child, you're limited in where you can go, you're limited in how far the boundaries are, you're limited in how fast you can run and how long you're allowed to be outside because you're a child. Whereas when you grow up, you can now evolve these rules to play truly the best game of all time because you're a grown-up now and you can be out at crazy times playing hide and go seek in the woods because you're a grown-up and you're allowed to be in the woods by yourself.
That's so true. Oh my God.
Like you can play multiple neighborhoods now because people own cars and bikes. You can play crazy time limits.
Can I recommend something to you? There's a show on Netflix, I think maybe you need a VPN to watch it, but it's so good, called Busted. It's a Korean show. It's got subtitles.
I love Busted. I actually do know Busted. I know Busted because I love K-dramas and I love Korean TV because I think it's so well done and very fun and
Isn't it?
wholesome.
I feel
but
like
Busted is
very
great.
much in the spirit of all of this.
Yeah, it's very much like adults are allowed to play games.
Yeah.
Like
for anyone that hasn't watched it, it's basically like there's a narrative that goes through it, which is really well written, in my opinion. But basically, it's these Korean celebrities playing themselves but acting like they don't know each other. And there's like a murder mystery party. And then it sets them off on this scavenger hunt around Seoul. And then each season's in a different location in Korea. It's so good. It's such a good show.
So good. It's so funny. They're so...
Yeah.
It's
So many
so
escape
well thought
rooms.
out.
I love escape rooms. I love scavenger hunts. I feel like Leslie Knope is a good example of everything we're talking about.
She is. She's an incredible example of someone who stays in that line, stays enjoying things, stays encouraging it, stays being passionate about things that other people would be afraid to be passionate about.
Yeah. On the hide and go seek train, this is just a fun anecdote. Every single time I've ever played it, if I have to hide, I almost, or I do, piss my pants.
That's beautiful. Why?
I get so excited and so nervous.
Like a little chihuahua and you're just buzzing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, oh, they're gonna find it, and it makes me feel like incredible. Like I'm just like, oh.
There have been multiple times where I played hide and go seek where I've hid too well to the point that I can't like hear people being like, the game is over.
Oh.
It happened like 3 times. And I think the best time was a time when I was in college and I hid in the engineering complex, which is really weird. It's a weird building, but I hid there. And like 2 hours after I hid, it had like been a really long time. So I came out and they were all like eating pizza and they were like, we shouted for you, but we didn't know where you were. So we just ordered pizza and stayed here to wait and see if you'd come out. It's like, oh, cool.
That's kind of the best thing to finish to, though. You didn't even have to wait for the pizza. It was just there.
Yeah, it was just there. They're just hanging out.
Back onto the topic of sleepovers. Have you seen the movie Sleepover?
Sleepover? Yes, I have. Great movie. I enjoyed it. That's the one with oh God, who's in it?
Alexa Vega.
Yes.
Steve
That's who I was
Carell
thinking
makes
of.
an appearance.
Yeah, Steve Carell's in it for a little bit.
It is Jane Lynch. Who else is in it? Brie Larson is in it.
Yes, she is.
Sarah Paxton, Evan Peters.
I love Sarah Paxton. I used to be obsessed with Sarah Paxton. She's amazing.
She was in one of my UCB classes, and we went to trivia together. Yeah, she's lovely.
Oh my God, she
really
seems
nice.
like she would be.
She is. I'm obsessed with. We actually have an episode of this with my friend Ali of the show Summerland. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I have not. No.
Oh, that is a perfect sleepover show. If you're out there and you're watching, you're having a sleepover, watch Summerland.
Have a sleepover. You need something to watch.
Jesse McCartney, Zac Efron, the previously mentioned Sarah Paxton, Kay Panabaker, convicted felon Lori Loughlin. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And then I was just going to ask as well, in terms of sleepover activities, what do you think is like top 3 sleepover activities?
Top 3 sleepover activities. Number 1, these are not in order. Number 1 for me, sleepover activity is when it's like 4 a.m. Everyone is falling asleep. Some people are still awake. You're talking a little bit and you start to get like really into who each person is as a person. And you kind of start talking about these like important things that happen in your life or ways that you feel about stuff. And you just really start opening your heart and having these talks that are just like so deep and they stay forever. And like years down the road, you can still be like, remember that one sleepover where we talked about this thing? And they're like, yeah, I never would have talked about that with anyone, but it felt correct in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number 1 sleepover activity for me. I love them. You can't force a heart talk. You just have to hope that someone's heart wants to. And when it happens, it's the most magical thing in the whole world. And it makes me so happy. Number 1 sleepover activity. Sleepover activity number 2. I enjoy crafting. I enjoy making something with a group of people, whether it's a baked good or just like a dumb craft. I recently made a Cupid doll with a friend of mine. And that was great. And I was like, this is the greatest, because then everybody's making their own thing and you get to share them and look at them all and be like, these are so dumb.
I love that. I made this at a Zoom crafternoon.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
look at those lips.
Her name's Cynthia.
Luscious. Absolutely.
Yeah,
hello, Cynthia.
she's a queen.
You gorgeous lady. My Cupid dolls aren't in this room, or else I would show them off. But one of them is named Botanica, and she looks like flowers, and the other one's name is Spazatia, and she's just in a robe with a face mask.
Hey, she's taking care of herself, and that's important.
She is taking care of herself, and it's very important. Which leads us to activity number 3 at a sleepover. I love spa activities at a sleepover because it's everybody revitalizing at once
Yes.
and helping each other to relax and feel your oats, feel the best that you can feel, but also be surrounded by people that you love.
Yes, I love that. Oh,
Yee.
I love a good this might be really specific to I'm thinking of like a really specific time. I'm thinking of like it's 2002. You're on the dial-up home computer and you're going to Habbo Hotel or Club Penguin or
Club Penguin.
funnyjunk.com.
I loved funnyjunk.com. I was obsessed with funnyjunk.com. That was great. Or eBombs World.
Oh,
Another fun website.
the original like memes. That's where viral videos started. It truly was funnyjunk.com.
.com. So good. Yeah, I feel like sleepover activity of being on the computer is a pretty iconic one.
Yeah.
Like being on like Omegle or being on Chat Roulette or going to Funny Junk or being all on Club Penguin at the same time or RuneScape.
Oh,
just like
man.
all or playing Sims, all having one person who's controlling the game, but everybody's there.
Yeah.
Being like, always say this,
one
do
friend
this.
that's like yelling and they're all like, just you're not
yeah,
the
and
one
everyone's like,
shush. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Capricorn of the group, aka me.
AKA me as well.
What day's your birthday?
Loud and proud. Capricorn, January 13th.
We are 5 days apart. I'm the 18th.
Oh my God. Also, random fun fact, the names on my birth certificates of my doctors sound fake, but they were real doctors. And they weren't my mom's doctor because my mom's doctor was on vacation when I was delivered. So these 2 other doctors stepped in and their names are Dr. Love and Dr. Casanova.
Are they related?
No, they were just 2 random doctors who happened to be working, decided to join hands with their perfect names and deliver said babe.
This is a conspiracy.
Right?
This isn't real.
Like I was even like, Mom, that's not true. And then she showed me the birth certificate and I was like, get out of town.
Jesus Christ, superstar, that's crazy. Is there any last sentiment or thing you would like to talk about on this topic before we kind of wrap things up?
My last sentiment on the topic is just, if there was something you enjoyed as a child and you think you're not allowed to enjoy it anymore because it's for babies, that is simply not true. You are allowed to enjoy it and you should enjoy it because you will feel so much better if you just do the things that are fun. Like if you just do the little kid things, you feel so wholesome and you feel like you've returned to your childhood and you just feel so much better and lighter and happier because you're not afraid to do something you enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I love it. And I concur.
Good.
Before we wrap things up, can you let people know where they can find everything that you're up to, and is there anything like that you would like to plug?
Yes, I can. So I have an Instagram, which is intergalactic_thitties. Never thought I would say that out loud. It does mean space thick titties. My Twitter, if you're interested in seeing tweets about me going poop or making random observations, is eternititties, the everlasting titty. For some reason, I just think because I'm a 12-year-old boy inside that boobs are funny. And it is my username. So find her at eternititties. Facebook, Katie Currie, Facebook page, Katie Currie. Thing to plug, Twihards will be back and it will come back with a vengeance. Dare I say, we sold out once, we can sell out again.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And this will definitely be coming out before we know when the rescheduled show will be.
Well, there you go. So they'll find it.
As soon as we know when that is, I will post the show ticket link in the description of this on the YouTube channel, and it will be in my link tree and everything, so you can find it, because we're both in it, and Katie has a hilarious sketch. I tell a little story. The rest of the acts are so good. And
they're so good. It's very entertaining.
It's live streamed as well,
Twilight.
so you don't need to just be in Melbourne to watch it.
You can get it online.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exciting. And then I have one more thing. I have a sketch show called Gray Matter, February 27th, fingers crossed, COVID restrictions. That is at the Improv Conspiracy on a Saturday at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been incredible. I love talking to you.
Thank you. This is fun. I like this.
Yeah, me too. And thank you to anyone watching and or listening. Give this a like, a subscribe, whatever the hell they say on the things, a 5 stars, a rating, a review. I don't know how you're consuming this, but whatever the interaction on the version that you are consuming this, interact if you want. And if you don't, that's okay too. I forgive you. You can follow me on everything at Ashley Crap App. We got Instagram. We got Twitch. We got Twitter. We got TikTok. And on those things, it's all the same. And there's my link tree, which has everything. You can watch my sketches. You can watch more episodes of this or other things. And also, when shows are back on, I'll be doing lots more stand-up, and yeah, just great classic hits. Gold 104, Smooth FM, Smooth 91.5, and those are some free plugs for some radio stations. Thank you so much, Katie. This has been the best. Bloody adore you.
Yeah, bloody adore you too. Really excited to get to know you more and hang out with you, because you're great. You're a great lady. I vibe you.
I vibe you, and I think personally that we should have a sleepover.
I 100% agree with this. 100p hard sleepover.
It's
done.
It's official. It's in the world. That means it's going to happen.
Exactly. That's what it means.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a sip of my water, as I do. For some reason, I've started doing this. I'm going to loudly sip into the microphone, as I always do. We've both got our hydro flasks.
Give me. Yes, of course. The great company. We love them.
Shout out. We both got our Carla Scotto stickers as well. Shout out to Carla.
Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Hydro Flask.
Delicious. That was not planned. We said that at the same time. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, people.